So can you go over now like the hot water system and how it works?
Yep. Here are two hot water collectors. They're running parallel.
Okay.
Just 3/4 copper pipe. The cold is in the bottom.
Right there.
It gets heated up from the top. The heat rises, so we take a hot glycol from the top. These collectors are filled with glycol. Because we prefer a glycol system because otherwise it would freeze in the winter time. Water would freeze. There's an auto air vent up in that high corner there on the hot side coming out.
Yeah.
To get any air out of the system, unwanted air. And then
So that's the small yellow thing we can see up, like far up on the copper pipe.
Right corner there.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
Left corner.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we have a small PV panel, small little 32-watt PV panel.
Yeah.
And that little panel, that runs our circulator pump, and I'll show you that in a minute.
Which is independent from all the other solar panels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's specifically just for that circulator.
Perfect.
All right.
Back inside.
Yeah. So here we have the rest of our mechanical cabinet. You saw the collectors where the glycol gets heated up.
Yeah.
And then it goes through a heat exchanger. So it'll come down through here, come down through this copper pipe in the back. And it'll go through here, and it'll run through a coil.
Okay.
And then out to the bottom, and then up through to a circulator pump that's run by that panel, that PV panel, a small 32-watt PV panel.
Yeah.
And that circulates the glycol. Just keep it circulating. And then it runs through, and this will go back to the bottom of the panel, so the cold side of the panel. Alright? And then at the top, it's just a loop.
And it's coming right back here.
Yep, it's a continuous loop. And this will keep the glycol moving.
Yeah.
And that's what will heat our water. This is filled up with water. The glycol and the water do not mix at all.
Because it stays in the pipe the whole time.
Exactly.
Just going back, leaving the heat inside that, and then leaving to get more heat from the sun after that.
It's coiled, right? Continue.
Yeah.
Yep, it's coiled. It's actually a double coil to prevent, for extra precautionary measures, so that if there is a leak in the first barrier,
it won't go.
Yeah, it won't get into the water, domestic water in the second.
Gotcha.
Important to have your blow off. Your
Oh.
blow off valves. The blow off on this one is actually set to 30.
Okay. Which means that if it goes too high, then it just opens up.
If the pressure exceeds 30 psi, it'll open up and blow off. It's a safety measure.
Okay.
You have one here, also for your on-demand heater. The on-demand is a backup.
Okay.
So this is run by LP gas.
So that's for it's not for the glycol, it's for the water itself.
It's for the water itself. No glycol runs through this at all.
Ever, yeah.
Yeah. So what happens is the cold water comes in. You have your cold water coming in this white pipe right here.
Yeah.
And it tees off, and it comes into the cold inlet.
Yeah.
Fills this tank. Comes out of the hot side.
Yeah.
Into the cold side.
Of that.
Yes, into the cold side of the on-demand.
On-demand, yeah.
Because it wants to sense it. And then out of the hot to a mixing valve and to the house.
Okay.
Now, the other reason is if this water doesn't, if we have a bunch of cloudy days and this water does not heat up from the sun.
Enough.
So you have to come out from the hot to the cold end, and then this will sense that, hey, we didn't heat it up enough. The sun wasn't out, so now we have to turn on. We have to kick on, and we have to send more hot water through, and it'll send hot water through. Mixing valve it's pretty standard as code.
Okay.
Just like your blow-off valves, they're both standard for code in domestic situations and in commercial situations as well. What a mixing valve does is it brings the temperature down.
Okay. So it's not too hot when it comes out.
The water in here can get up to maybe even 200 degrees. I've seen it get up to 180 degrees.
Okay, it's really hot.
Yeah, but I've heard it gets even more.
Okay.
So in a house, in a home, 110 is what you're supposed to set all your water heaters at.
Okay.
So the mixing valve will step that down to 110.
By just mixing cold water with it.
Exactly. You see we have a T here
Yeah.
that'll come in on cold side. So you have a cold side and a hot side. And then this is mixed. Okay? And this will go to all the hot water piping in your house right here. And that's why it's insulated as well. These lines will also get insulated. The glycol lines will also get insulated.
Everything that keeps the heat inside will be insulated just
Yeah.
so that we don't have loss.
Yep. And here's the glycol. It's antifreeze. Yep. And there's the Cryotech. Is the brand.
Not yet.
Hercules is the brand, and Cryotech is the name.
Okay. And right now it's there just because you put it in today, but after that there's not going to be any, like once it's in, you just leave it there for years, or like do you have to change that?
You can leave it. You should check once a year for acidity.
Okay.
Also, you want to mix when you pump up this system. You want to mix it with water. There's a chart on the actual 5-gallon bucket itself that tells you, according to temperature,
Okay.
what the ratio should be in your area.
Cool.
And that's pretty much it. Do you want me to explain the hot water return?
It would be nice.
Yeah.
If you have time. It'd be cool.
So this is a zone valve.
Okay.
Usually zone valves.
Can you point that again? Sorry, I'll just zoom
right
on.
here.
Okay.
This is a zone valve.
Okay.
Usually zone valves are used in radiant floor heating or heating.
Okay.
Different zones in your house. A thermostat will turn on and off. You know, when you call for heat, it will tell this zone valve to open,
Okay.
so that you'll run hot water or whatever it is through your heating system, right, to get you up to temperature. What we do here is we take a timer switch and we put it to the farthest bathroom or the farthest location that needs hot water.
Okay.
By code, you should have, I think it's past 20 feet. If anything more than 20 feet, you should have a hot water return.
Okay.
And what that does is prevent you from wasting cold water. So you're not sitting there waiting at the sink for hot water to come.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you waste all that cold water and it just goes nowhere. You know?
Okay.
I mean, for us, it would go into our planters.
Yeah.
But
still.
But still, it's nice to save that water.
Yeah.
So what we do is, I put a T at the end of the hot water line,
Okay.
and we run it back here to this valve, to this zone valve.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's run into the cistern with a check valve at the cistern by the WAM.
Outside. Yeah.
You noticed in the WAM video there was a red tubing
Yeah.
with a piece of a brass fitting, and then you see the red tubing going into the water inlet,
Yeah.
the cold water inlet. That is dumping right back into the cistern.
Cistern.
So you walk inside you're planning on taking a shower. You walk
Yeah.
into your bathroom. You turn that timer switch maybe for less than a minute. You know.
Okay.
And you go do something. You come back. You open your faucet,
Yeah.
and you'll have hot water because when
Really?
you turn that timer switch, it's wired to this zone valve, and that zone valve will open and start circulating the water to the cistern. So
Very
it'll
nice.
pull that cold water and dump it right back into the system.
All the extra useless.
Mhm.
Very nice. Cool.
And that's it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
And I believe there's a system to melt the snow if there's too much, or ice and stuff on the roof. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like a radiant floor heating.
Okay.
Um,
Similar system.
Same concept, yeah. We're going to use the same glycol.
Yeah.
You saw the 2 panels outside. We're going to use that same glycol. All we did was put a T up top. So your feed from the panels, one line of hot glycol will go to the tank, and one line, it's split, one line will go to the back of the roof.
Okay.
Now it's important to have your returns come back here on your circulator pump. So this is the return from the roof, and here's the valve.
Yep.
If you close this valve, you won't get any circulation coming through here, so you can shut it off in the summertime.
In summer, because you don't need that.
Yeah, and then only use the glycol for your hot water system.
Yeah.
to heat water instead of heating the roof. You turn this valve on, and it'll pass through. The circulator pump will pull it through.
And just bring it. Okay. So as long as you know, like when we're getting closer to cold season with snow and stuff, that's when you open it, and then you just close it once it's like spring and.
You can even, if you check in the back,
yeah,
often enough, you can leave it off.
Okay, you can leave it off,
and then
just
you
open
know,
it when
like,
you
oh, we just got some snow, or we got some rain, and it's gonna get cold tonight.
Yeah.
Now I'll open it.
Open it. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
And
So
then we should
less
go up
stuff.
on the roof, and I'll show you the layout up there as well.
Perfect. Thank you. We're back on the roof now
Yeah.
to look at this heater
this-
system.
Yeah, this is our roof mount system. We ran the lines through the house, and this is Bo's nice
Good
copper
job.
work here. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
So we have a feed and a return here.
Okay.
All right. So the bottom one is our feed. The direction of flow is this way.
Yep.
And then we come into the gutter first for any water that freezes in the gutter. And then we also pipe down into the scuppers as well.
Okay.
And then it goes all the way down to the end of the gutter, and it comes back. When we were building with the roofing, we put in PEX tubing, like radiant floor heating.
Inside the metal itself, right?
Yep. Underneath this is the oxygen barrier PEX tubing. You cannot use this for potable water inside your house. This is only for heating purposes.
Okay.
All right. So we ran from that end down to here, and it's curved under
Yep.
here and back, and curves back this way.
3
And
times.
it comes through here, and then we switch it to copper and out.
And out, and then it just goes right back to that same tank
It
inside,
goes back into the cabinet to the circulator pump.
to your circulator pump. Yeah.
Yep. That's your return.
Hmm.
You always pipe your return into to your circulator pump.
Yeah.
Now, one other important thing is that this needs to be protected from UV rays.
Okay.
It will break down PEX tubing. Even potable PEX tubing that you use for domestic water, same thing.
Okay.
So Rob made this nice little flashing here. He insulated it and put some flashing in it.
Because there was a little bit of PEX coming out there.
Exposed, yeah, there was probably this much exposed.
Yeah.
Even that much you want to cover. You
Because
always
it
want to
will-
cover it.
Yeah.
This doesn't necessarily need to be insulated, but you can insulate this pipe here.
Okay.
In the gutter, we don't want it. We want it to melt the ice, and it doesn't have to be that hot to melt the ice. Just
Yeah,
like,
no, it's
you
as,
know.
as long as it brings it over 5 degrees Celsius.
So
all our Canadian viewers.
yeah, and then inside the cabinet, we'll also insulate all the hot lines as well. All the ones that are coming from the panels that are really hot. The return, you don't really have to. You can do it with a lower temperature.
Okay. And
insulation.
so you said it would be insulated. So the copper pipe that we saw inside that I filmed on the way in, the inlet will be insulated.
Yeah,
So is
the
it- okay,
feed.
all the way. The
Yep,
feed will
the
be
feed will
all the way to here.
insulated with high temperature insulation,
Okay.
not regular household insulation.
Okay.
Some of them are kind of like rubberized. Others have fiberglass insulation.
Okay. Just so they don't melt when it's super hot.
Yeah, most systems though they insulate the whole entire
The
line,
whole thing. Okay.
except for
Of course, when you want to
Yeah.
to leave the. Okay.
Yeah, and that's it, man.
Cool. Thank you again.